Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadrama, Jaya Gauranithai, 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 Jaya Gauranithai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishupad Paramhansha Parivrajagacharya Ashtotter Shate His Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Beauty Founder Acharya, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Upasi Samvita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nithai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. And we are going to read today text 6, and text 6 doesn't have any purport, and we'll cover text 7. So we recite text 6 together. Mumuchu prema vaspaugam. Mumuchu prema vaspaugam. Virahu kantaya kataraha. Virahu kantaya kataraha. Rajatam arhayam chakre. Rajatam arhayam chakre. Kirtasana parigraham. Kritasana parigraham. Mumuchu prema vaspaugam. Viraho kantaya kataraha Rajatam arhayam chakre Ritasana parigraham Mumuchu prema vaspaugam Virahot kantaya kataraha Rajatam arhayam chakre Kritasana parigraham Vimucho prema vaspaugam Viraho kanta kataraha Rajatam arhayam chakre Kritasana parigraham Mucha prema vaspaugam Viraho kantaya kartaha Rajatam arhayam chakre Sana parigraham Muchu prema vaspaugam Viraho kanta kataraha Rajatam arhayam chakre Kritasana parigraham Mumuchu emanated Prema affectionate Vaspaugam emotional tears Viraha separation Utkantha anxiousness Kataraha being aggravated Raja King Yudhishthir Tam unto him Vidura Arhayam Chakre offered Krita performance of asana seating accommodations parigraham arrangement of. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Due to anxieties and the long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. So we'll move to text 7, as text 6 doesn't have any purport. Text 7 translation. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. Purport. King Yudhishthira was expert in reception also, even in the case of his family members. Vidura was well received by all the family members by exchange of embraces and obeisances. After that, bathing and arrangements for all sumptuous dinner were made, and then he was given sufficient rest. After finishing his rest, he was offered a comfortable place to sit, and then the king began to talk about all happenings, both family and otherwise. That is the proper way to receive a beloved friend or even an enemy. According to the Indian moral codes, even an enemy received at home should be so well received that he will not feel any fearful situation. An enemy is always afraid of his enemy, but this should not be so when he is received at home by his enemy. This means that a person, when received at home, should be treated as a relative. So what to speak of a family member like Vidura, who was a well-wisher for all the members of the family. Thus, Yudhishthira Maharaj began to speak in the presence of all other members. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyutha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Tam Tam Sajeev Swadvaitam Savadutam Pariyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Rita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataruvascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So in this section we are covering where it has been described that when Vidura came back after the battle of Kurukshetra. So during the battle, before, when it was decided that the battle is about to happen and Vidura left. Actually, he wasn't actually left. He was actually basically exiled by Duryodhana, because Duryodhana knew that Vidura was very much affectionate towards the Pandavas. And how Vidura actually previously saved the Pandavas. We know then during the pastimes of Lakshagriha, where Duryodhana wanted to kill the Pandavas. And Vidura actually at that point of time sent that news to the Pandavas that get away from that home, because otherwise you will all be killed. So Duryodhana, if somehow or other, he thought that if Vidura is here and he is very good with his negotiating skills and he's very he has been the associate of Dhritarashtra for a long time. So he was having that fear that if Vidura was there, then it might Vidura will convince others to join the Pandavas. So in a way, he also wanted Vidura to go away, and Vidura did that. He went away. And when he came back, and this is after the battle of Kurukshetra. So, in this sect, in the last few chapters, and so what we are saying that it has been described after the battle, how what is the situation with the kingdom, how Yudhishthira Maharaj he became the king, and also it has been described that how the opulences of the kingdom was there. So. And that point of time, we see that there were two main dynasties in the universe. One was obviously the Kuru dynasty, another one was the Yadu dynasty. So Krishna and Balaram, they were part of the Yadu dynasty, but there was some curse on Yadu dynasty that they couldn't become the emperor. So it was like the Kuru dynasty was the one that will rule the earth. But this is also a significant timing in the history, that we see that the arrival of Emperor Parikshit, and he was the last emperor, and after that basically the Kuru dynasty ends. So that's actually then the beginning of Kali Yuga. So it was a very significant time. So we see that during those times how all the rituals and how that all the kingly and saintly behavior was absorbed at that point of time. Here we see that it has been described that when Vidura came and how he was addressed and how he was received and taken care of by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So it's kind of really this in this present day and age. It's very hard to imagine that it is how it's explained that even an enemy goes to someone's place to his who is an enemy of someone So I know someone who is my enemy, And if I goes to their place, and if they receive us in their home, nicely, that means that enemy is not going to harm us. So that was the moral conduct what Srila Prabhupada was mentioning, that if an enemy goes to someone's place and they get well received, then you can you can think, okay, nothing is going to happen, like no harm will be done to me because I have been received nicely. This only changed when obviously after the Kali Yuga starts, and then still in the Kali Yugas also the kings, they were trying to maintain this moral conduct. This only started to change when we started to get the invaders. We started to get specifically all the Mughals, and after that, before that also, that the people from all the invaders from Iran, and they started to come. So at those kind of time, those moral things started to deteriorate because they actually didn't comply with any of these moral values. By hook or crook, they wanted to just win. So we see that in the how it described in Mahabharata, that during the battle of Kurukshetra, after the conch shell blown in the evening, people from both the camp, they used to go to each other's camp, the other camp, and they used to spend time there. So it's basically the battle has finished for today. Now you can sit down and you can talk. Although they are on the other side, but I can still go there, I can still sit with them, and I can still have my friendly conversation with them, which is really unheard of. Obviously these days these are not present, but even before the invaders came to India, that was the moral code. But when specifically the Mughals came, they not only went to someone's place, and when they get received, we have history that specifically the Rajputs, who are one of the they're the Kshatriyas, specifically from the region of Rajasthan. And they were really strong against the Mughal invaders. And the Mughals, they went to their home and they got well received at their home. And they knew that these people actually maintain the moral code that if we go to their home and if we get received, then they are not going to do any harm to us. But what they did, when they went into their home, then they actually killed them in their home. Took the advantage of their, of this moral code, and they actually, destroyed them. So then people came to know that, okay, these people, you can't, believe them, you can't rely on them, that they will maintain any moral codes. So we see that, how things started at that point started deteriorating for the Kali Yuga. And today is absolutely what to talk about enemies. It's within the same house, even relatives, even brothers, there is no moral codes there. Because everyone is becoming so self-centered, and this is the Kali Yuga, that it's basically keeping myself into the middle, and just to make sure that I received all the benefits. It's not for anyone else. After the exam. So we have situations now that where we see that terrible incidents happen within the family. What to talk about among the enemies. So then we wanted to understand that why this kind of thing happen. Even very small things turns out to be a very, very ghastly kind of incidents. Because obviously that when people become so much self-centered and they wanted so much something for themselves, then it's become very hard for them actually to, when they are not getting it, and because of the Kali Yuga it's such a way that you're not getting what you want, actually drive them crazy. And when something drives you crazy, that means you lost your intelligence, you get bewildered, and you do something which actually, after doing that, you remorse that, why I have done this. But while you are doing it, you also don't even understand, or you can't even realize that what you are doing. Once that is done, obviously then someone, then the other, all the laws and everything are there that got that person and give them punishment. But then if you want to go deep and see that, why that happened and how to prevent it. So why that happened, obviously we discussed that because it comes out of the lust and greed, and it's, I need to have for myself. But how to prevent it? How to prevent it is when I'm not putting myself in the center and I want to serve, that serving mentality is there. Rather than serving myself, I want to serve someone. When that mentality started to come, then basically you see that there is started to have from mode of ignorance and passion, someone started to go to that mode of goodness. And there you come into that platform where actually you are not being harmful to anyone. Mode of goodness is actually not the mode of, platform of human. Mode of good. When someone goes to that mode of goodness, actually they come into the platform of humanity. Then actually you go into the mode of transcendence, which is when you go into the spirituality. But just to get if someone thinks, oh, mode of goodness, then we are in the spiritual realm. No, mode of goodness just takes you to that position of a human being, what a human being does. But you see these days we see that only the human beings are the ones who are harming each other most. If you see the animals in the animal kingdom, they don't harm each other unless it is bare necessities. They don't harm. But here in the human society, just harm each other for very silly reason. So that's why we are if we are considered ourselves the topmost race within the 8.4 million different species. But in terms of harming each other, we are also top there. The way we can harm each other, there is no one can match with that. But at the same time, we have that capability to take care of each other like no one can. And then when we see that why it's happened, because this is all to do with the expectation, different kinds of rasa are there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually explained there are 3 different kinds of rasas that actually the human beings they can get into. First one is the physical one. So physical one is I am very much want opulences for myself. So to make myself comfortable. So here we see that in the example, here in the past time, that previously when Yudhishthira Maharaj was doing the Ashwamedh Yagna, there was innumerable amount of gold. It was just on the street and everywhere, but people were not interested to take it. Because they feel that they are not going to get any happiness out of it. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that the first level of that rasa, that where someone is getting some pleasure of just accumulating as much as earthly things, although they don't need it, but just wanted to keep it. So that is the first level. And the second level is the heavenly rasas, where you want to get some mental pleasures, where you want to get, okay, now I want to please myself, my own self. So how that works is basically you want to get some fame, you want to get some glory, you want to get by any means. And that someone thinks, oh, this is heaven. Look, I'm very famous, I have lots of power, I have lots of followers. So someone thinks, oh, this is heavenly pleasures, the rasa. And the third and the topmost is obviously the spiritual rasa, which is far beyond, which can take someone who stays in this material world, but take them out of this material world to the spiritual world. That is the ultimate aim. But it's very hard to go into that realm. Because most of us are entangled in either in that first one, where it's like the gross, to get everything like, gross materialistic things, or the second one, where we are trying to get like our mental pleasures. So body, mind, and obviously the third one, go into the spiritual level. So the journey has been given there, and we know that how the journey needs to be happening, and we know that, how to reach to that spiritual realm. But it's very hard to go there. So now we see that, here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that if we, follow the moral values at least, it will take us to that, at least to that heavenly platform. Because when you're in the gross level, you are actually more dangerous to other people, because you will commit sins. And then the heavenly one, you are less dangerous. And the third one, you are more, you are going into the saintly platform. So here in the previous yugas, we used to see that, who is more saintly. And here we have to see that who is more dangerous. So we have to make ourselves, away from all the dangerous, all these dangerous elements in this material world, because it's very easy to indulge into that. If you're not loving Krishna, if you're not in love with Krishna, then you are in lust with the material energy. That is also Krishna's energy. So it's two sides of the coin. Outside this, there is nothing. So you can't saying that, okay, I don't want to get involved with Krishna conscious activities. I don't want to get involved anything with Maya. I'll be just static somewhere in between, a void. But the news is there is nothing like this void. It's either Krishna Prem or the Maya. You can't go anywhere else. So, and if someone is thinking, is that void, it's somewhere that I can be saved, that void is also a Maya. It's just mental concoction. So that's why we have to be very, very serious that where we want to situate ourselves. And Paramatma is sitting in the heart, in everyone's heart. And if you really, really surrender, sincerely, Paramatma will guide you. That are you going into the right way or the wrong way? If you want to go to the right way, there might be so many obstacles, but still you go ahead. And ultimately you will reach the destination. And if you're going to the wrong way, maybe short term you'll get so many benefits, but ultimately it's going to take you down. So we have to be really, really careful. And we see, and that's why we see that, in the past times of all the devotees, they went through all this journey. The journey is the most important thing. Ultimately, if we reach to that destination or not in this lifestyle, in this lifetime, that's not actually important, because you can't, you can't get fixed on that. I'm going to go back to the Godhead in this lifetime. But what's important is the journey, and we have to take learnings from the journey, from all the exalted, the devotees' pastime that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's in the same note, today actually is the disappearance day of Sri Ramananda Rai. So we know that Sri Ramananda Rai was one of the most close associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Puri, Jagannath Puri, there were two associates who were very, very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One was Ramananda Rai, another one Swarup Damodar. So Ramananda Rai, he was actually he was born in Puri. And then he moved to South India and he became the magistrate or the councillor of the district of, at that point of time, Madras, that area. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went for the South India Parikrama, and he went into the banks of Godavari river, and he was sitting there and he was just like taking some rest. So Ramananda Rai also with his associate came there, and in the Godavari river, because it's a very sacred river to take bath, and then he saw that this very effulgent young sannyasi sitting on the banks of Godavari river. So he went and he introduced himself, and then they started talking. And as time passed on, Ramananda Rai was like, he's just feeling this attraction, to this personality whom he has never seen. It's like he was just having normal conversation and then started with the spiritual conversation. So then Ramananda Rai said that, okay, now I have to go to a program and then I will meet you again. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, I will be here. Whenever you finish, you come back. So Ramananda Rai went for the program, but he was his mind was very distracted, and his mind was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said I have to go back to him. And then he came back, he finished the program, he again went back to the banks, and then he sat down and they started talking. And that's that conversation that it's actually, there is a book, it's called the Sri Rai Ramananda Samvad. So that is the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. And we know that, after that, what happened? After that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals his identity to Ramananda Rai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed, the Sri Radha and Krishna's, form. I think the picture is outside there in the restaurant area. We have that there. That Ramananda Rai was looking at the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and at behind Radha and Krishna. So then he becomes he surrendered himself to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then instructed him that leave your duties, government duties, and come to Jagannath Puri. And Ramananda Rai, he left his duties there and he went to Jagannath Puri and he met with Sarup Damodar there. And both of them tried to, both of them actually then started to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Ramananda Rai, he was very scholarly, very learned person. And his main service was actually to direct dramas. Which was presented to to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come, and this was the famous pastime from Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata. And Ramananda Rai used to take the young boys and the girls from the Jagannath temple, and they used to enact the part, and he used to direct them. So he was very much involved in that. He was always preparing new dramas for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And those days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it was going towards the Anta Leela, he was getting more and more. He was always sad because he was feeling more separation. So he was feeling more sad, more separation. But when he came and saw those dramas, those times he gets really happy because he was seeing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and then whatever the other dramas were there. So one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually instructed one of the followers, his name was Pradyumna. He instructed him that please go to Ramananda Rai and learn from him. So Pradyumna went there. And he saw that, okay, Ramananda Rai, he was there, and he was with these, the girls whom he was directing for the drama. And he was dressing them, and he was, talking with them very intimately. And Pradyumna was like a little bit surprised. He was like, if he is a saintly person, then how come he has, like, he is doing all those things? He's not a saintly person. So he had this doubt and he went back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to him, like, that Ramananda Rai is like what his real identity. Ramananda Rai actually, he was Vishakha in the Krishna's pastime, Krishna Lila. We know like the Vishakha and Lalita, the two associates of Radharani. So obviously when Radharani and Krishna came together as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radharani also brought her two most close associates. So Vishakha was Ramananda Rai. And also, it's like the Acharya said that Ramananda Rai was also like, incarnation of Arjuna. So he was like very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna's. So Vishakha and Arjuna, like, they are both very close to, one close to Radharani, one close to Krishna. So that's why it's a very auspicious day. On this auspicious day, we pray to Sri Ramananda Rai, so that we can have the same unflinching bhakti towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, and obviously to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. So on that note, I'd like to end here. It's the time here. So we'll end here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nithai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, sorry, you had a question.
Like you said, right after Krishna has left, Kali has started being Krishna.
Yeah.
So like they are past 1,500 years in Kali Yuga. So like I just wanted to know, like and Krishna says that in Kali Yuga Dharma is standing on one leg. So like it's not that bad people are continuously doing bad things. I could understand from this statement that there are good people even now who is fighting against evils. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the reason why I